On today's video, I'm taking a look at a club that I've completely overlooked this year. When I tried these out at Scottsdale National, I was blown away at not only the aesthetics, which they're a very striking design, but most importantly, the incredible feel and the incredible spin I was getting from these wedges when I was testing them. Today we're taking a look at the PXG Sugar Daddy 3 milled wedges. These seem to be incredible performers, and they very likely could go into my bag at the end of this video, depending how they perform here today. I've got a 54 and a 58 degree wedge, and I'm gonna put them through a battery of tests out here in the real world, on course, in a true game-like environment. I'm gonna take some really difficult shots with these wedges and see if they can get me near the hole. First, let's take a closer look. All right, here's your closer look at the S-grind version of these Sugar Daddy 3 wedges. There are 3 grinds available. This S-grind is going to be the most versatile grind. So this has basically a medium sole to it. You've got relief towards the leading edge and the trailing edge, but what is much more apparent is this milling across the bottom of this wedge. The sole is very finely milled, and we'll see here today how that cuts through the turf. But I love that on irons I've tested, and we'll see how it works here with these wedges. You can see these are precision weighted. Some people like the look, some people don't. Personally, for me, I actually like it, but the ball certainly doesn't know what that club looks like that's hitting it. Either way, this weight actually provides a function in that it raises the center of gravity a little bit, and with wedges, that's very important for MOI, especially on full shots from the fairway. We will be testing that here today. Now, these wedges are forged as well, and they've got these very thick grooves to them that should wick moisture very well. We'll need that today because I'm out here and it's very dewy out here in Tampa in the mornings in the winter, and we'll see if we can still get some good spin from these wedges on these dewy greens here today. I've got this paired with a Dynamic Gold 115 gram mid-trajectory shaft. This isn't a super heavyweight shaft, it's actually a lighter shaft for a wedge, so we'll see how that plays a role. And I've got it paired with PSG's standard in-house grip here, which is actually a really nice one. All right, let's get to work and see how these perform. All right, we are going to take a 90-yard shot from the fairway. I'm going to take out the 54 degree wedge. We'll see how these things feel, as well as the stopping power that they provide from a fairway lie. Ooh, I just missed that one. It looks like it's headed a little bit right. And yeah, okay, just missed the green there. Shot 2. Much better strike there. Great feeling, pretty high trajectory. Ooh, I almost hit Sean. Okay. I'm not sure if you saw it on the camera, but it stopped pretty quick. Another little brush down, shot 3 here. That one's also just a little left of the pin, maybe a slightly better line than the first one, and yeah, that stopping stuck really good, at least from my vantage. Looked like it stopped right away. One more little brush down, shot 4 here. Oh, nice contact. That's a little bit more dead at it. Let's see what it does. Yeah, nice control with these wedges. All right, walking up to the balls here, we've got 1 off the green and we've got 3 pitch marks that we're gonna need to check. And I'm gonna check it with this new tool. We just rolled these out. This is a little gift set for the holidays, Mere Mortal branded. 2-way ball marker there. Nice divot tool, and then we've got the big boy ball marker with the Mere Mortal branding, and it's magnetic, so if you need to mark it a little bit smaller, you've got that as well. Beautiful gift set. If you wanna support honest independent reviews like we do here on Let's Play Through, I will leave a link down in the description so you can purchase these. Makes a great holiday gift. So here's the first pitch mark here, although this was my last shot. That took 1 hop and stop. This was actually shot 3 right here, and same thing. I like to hit these at a little bit of a lower trajectory, as you could see there. So they kind of hit, stop, and check. We didn't really get any backspin on these balls, but they were very consistent in how far they rolled down, if you can see that. They all finished about 2 feet from where that pitch mark was. So, very consistent wedges. That is really important to me with full shots, that a wedge be consistent. We saw it right there. And that forged feel, let me tell you, that is buttery. I've tested some really nice forged wedges this year. We tried the Maltbys and the Tacomos, actually, for direct-to-consumer brands. Those 2 really stood out to me. Of course, in my bag for a while, I've had these Cleveland RTZs, and they're a great feeling wedge, but I think the PXG might have them all beat. Very impressive. All right, let's move on to the next test here. All right, next test here is we're gonna take a really thin lie off of the apron of this hole and really try to generate maximum spin. Let's see if we can get these balls to really check up here with the Sugar Daddy 3. All right, let's see if we can put a little sauce. I'm gonna open up the face a little bit, expose more of the bounce, and kind of cut across it with fast hands. There was definitely some good action there. You saw it wanted to check up, but by the time it did, it was kind of cresting over that hill. This pin's in a tough spot. I'm gonna take a little off of it. Look at that thing, stop. Talk about some sauce. That's serious stuff right there. Just like it puts the brakes on. Excellent stuff here off a very tight lie. Let's hop into the bunker for our next test. I'm gonna take the 58-degree wedge. We've got an okay amount of green to work with here. I'm not completely short-sighted, but I need this thing to stop pretty quickly if we're gonna get close. All right, I got 3 balls here in the bunker. I'm gonna open my stance up. I'm gonna open the face of this club up. I'm really gonna swing through with a pretty good pace. Worst thing you can do in a bunker is decel. So we're gonna keep the acceleration and speed through this swing and hit about a 1/2 inch behind this ball. I had a little bit of nice secondary check. Boy, like distance-wise, that was perfect. Came out a little bit right of target, but distance-wise, really good. Just gotta straighten it out. Same shot here. Yeah, it wants to check up real quick. The spin on these really is impressive. It's hard to get to the hole, they want to spin so much. I'm not a person that generates a ton of spin generally, so for me to get that kind of action, also, it's still morning here. The greens are still a little dewy, and so they're not really checking as much as they could be. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing here, spin-wise from these. But I think we gotta talk about price, because price is also pretty special for these, and maybe not in the way you want it to be special. These wedges run $299 at retail, so that's gonna be the one real drawback if you were wedge shopping. Most wedges now from the big names are right around $189 a wedge. We've also got a lot of direct-to-consumer products on the market right now where you can get a really solid wedge for anywhere from about $80 to $100. And these are basically going to be 300% of that number. So it's a serious investment, and I need some more testing here to see if that investment is worth it. All right, on this test, I'm gonna take the 58-degree wedge, and again, these wedges have this beautiful milling at the bottom. I found with my irons, I played the Adele irons for 3 years. I really felt that that club penetrated through the rough better than anything else I had tried. So here in Florida, we've got this Bermuda that can be really sticky, can really grab the club face. I'm gonna give myself some like mediocre lies over here. We'll see how this 58 cuts through on a little pitch shot. So many people come to Florida and I see them really just get stuck. That's what we're gonna try to avoid here. If you're not used to playing out of this stuff, it can be tricky. Slid right through. It actually came out almost too good there. I'm a little past that hole. There's that nice secondary check that I'm really loving. Yeah, no problems coming out of the Bermuda at all. And once I really got a feel for that, as you can see, I knocked 2 to basically tap in distance. So impressive, I would say. Again, it's sometimes really subtle little innovations like this that make a big difference out on the golf course. And I talked to you earlier about the price. You're paying maybe as much as 3 times what you pay for another wedge with this. But if you are a perfectionist, I think this is as close to perfection as it's gonna get. It's kind of one of those things, right? Like a Honda Accord will do everything you need. It's a great car, very reliable. But why do cars like Bugattis exist? Because people want just that little extra. So if you're a person that wants that little extra, I think these wedges are gonna provide it. If you're a person that doesn't care about that, just needs to get the job done, maybe this is a little bit too much. But just as a tester, someone who reviews all sorts of different clubs, I really appreciate looking at these little luxuries and these little nuances that make these clubs maybe a cut above the rest. All right, let's move on to the next test. All right, next test here is gonna be with the 58-degree wedge. We're gonna try more of a flop shot. I'm pretty short-sighted here on a green that if I go past this green, this ball is gone. So I got to get speed control right. And this is a difficult shot. Now, these PXG wedges, at least this particular one in my hand, doesn't have a ton of bounce. It makes it a more versatile club because you can do more with it, opening and closing the face. And for me, I've really got to open it wide open with this 58-degree wedge. And I've got to really keep the speed through this swing. Hand speed is really important for this type of shot. You got to commit to it. So I carried that a little bit further, and I got lucky it didn't hit that real big hill and fly away. So I gotta take a little bit off of this one. That's a good one. That's my landing spot I wanted to hit. And it actually came up short of the hole, which is great. I'd rather be short of that hole with this particular shot. One more. There we go. Bite, bite, bite. Oh, thought that was gonna go in. Yeah, I'd say it passed the flop shot test there pretty well. And the more I would use a wedge like this, the more I could really dial in that distance. but I think you're going to get a lot of versatility out of the PXG Sugar Daddy 3 wedges. All right, time to rate these wedges. So the first category is going to be feel. The feel of these is exceptional, especially on those full shots with this wedge and really all around the green. The interaction with the club face and the ball, beautiful. It's a full 5 out of 5 for me. Next category is going to be spin, and these things spin like no others. This is one of those cases where if I could give it a 6 or maybe even a 6.5 out of 5, I certainly would. It's 100% a 5 out of 5 in terms of spin for me. Now in terms of versatility, you've got 3 grind options and you've got a number of different lofts available and some customizations that are available to this wedge. I've got the most versatile of them all here in the S grind. I found it to be a very versatile wedge. All in all, with the options available and what this thing can do around the greens, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. When it comes to aesthetics, looks, feel, sound. First of all, the feel is amazing, as I've already talked about. The look of these clubs, again, could be polarizing. I actually think they're beautiful. So for me, they would be top of class for that. And then for sound, nice crunchy sound as you dive into the turf with these from a fairway shot. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a 4.5 out of 5 for aesthetics as well. And then when it comes to value, that's where this is going to get a little bit tricky because like I mentioned, these are not inexpensive clubs in any way, shape, or form. I think I will give them a 3 out of 5 for value. The reason they're getting a 3 is because they can do so much for what you're getting, really top of class, especially when it comes to spin. But you're going to be paying a king's ransom for that privilege. So if you're up to the task, or especially if you're military, first responder, you can get a discount on these things. Gosh, these wedges are incredible. But if you're a value shopper, this is probably not going to be the best option for you, at least from a budgetary perspective. But I absolutely adore these wedges. These wedges are going to be going into my bag, I can tell you that right now, because I'm getting more spin with these than I've ever had before, and I love the way they react on full shots. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.